Google just unveiled its latest TPU 8 chips, purpose built for the agentic future, a major infrastructure bet that could dramatically cut costs for multi step AI workflows. And speaking of agents, AI designed drugs are moving into human trials, showing the real world impact of AI in deeply complex fields. We're also diving into a new production grade image API from OpenAI and the ongoing Musk-OpenAI trial that's putting AI governance squarely in the spotlight. No BS AI briefing brought to you by Proactive AI. Welcome back. I'm your host Vikash, and this is where builders get straightforward AI news without the fluff. First up today, Google released its TPU 8 chips specifically designed for agentic workloads. This isn't just another incremental update, it's a big targeted move. Google unveiled both the TPU 8T for training and the TPU 8i for inference, claiming they're delivering 3 times the compute per pod. We're talking 121 exaflops per superpod and a massive 2 petabytes of shared memory. Think about that for a second. That's a lot of raw power. More importantly, for many of you, they're claiming an 80% better performance per dollar for inference, plus 3 times more on-chip SRAM and an Axion ARM-based CPU. This CPU in particular is optimized for multi-step reasoning, which is exactly what agents do. Availability is set for later in 2026, and firms like Citadel Securities are already listed as early adopters. For builders, this matters because purpose-built agent infrastructure like this directly improves the latency and cost of running those reasoning-heavy AI agents we've all been talking about. It sets a new performance baseline and signals deep integrations across Google's entire stack through 2026, meaning if you're building on Google Cloud, you're likely going to see these benefits trickle down into your tools. This isn't just faster chips, it's a strategic push into making agents more practical and affordable for a wider range of applications. Next up, we're seeing Isomorphic Labs move its AI designed drugs into human trials. This is a huge milestone, validating the real world application of AI beyond just theory or initial discovery phases. Isomorphic Labs, a DeepMind spin off, announced they're preparing for human trials in critical areas like oncology and immunology. Their ISODD program is focused on creating potent low dose molecules with significantly reduced off target effects. That's a big deal in drug development where precision can save lives and reduce side effects. They've also secured impressive partnerships with pharmaceutical giants like Eli Lilly, Novartis, and Johnson and Johnson, partnerships valued at over $3 billion. While the trial start moved a bit past their original end of 2025 target, the fact that these drugs are moving into human testing is phenomenal. What this means for builders in the biotech and life sciences space is a clear validation of AI's progress from discovery all the way to candidate engineering for human use. It's also going to drive massive demand for more sophisticated clinical, regulatory, and data tooling specifically designed for AI driven biotech. If you're building in this vertical, you're looking at a rapidly maturing market with serious needs for specialized AI solutions. Also, OpenAI has shipped GPT Image 2, their production grade multimodal API. This isn't just another flashy demo for generating abstract art. OpenAI's new API supports native text rendering with multilingual capabilities, which is huge for things like branding or localized content. It offers 4K output, ensuring high quality for professional use, and brings multi image consistency, meaning you can generate a series of images that look like they belong together. Crucially, it includes conversational edits, things like selective changes, object removal, and style transfer, all through natural language prompts. I mean, think about that for a second. This fundamentally transitions image generation from being a novelty or a fun experiment to becoming a truly iterative production workflow. For designers, content management systems, and e commerce platforms, this means API first integration for generating marketing assets, product visuals, and even personalized content at scale. It's about building image generation directly into your backend processes, making it a utility rather than a manual creative step. This is a tool for product teams who need reliability and control, not just creative bursts. And finally, vital, The Musk versus OpenAI trial has officially opened, putting AI governance squarely in the spotlight. The trial began on April 27, 2026, in Oakland. The core of the suit involves allegations of a breach of OpenAI's non-profit mission, unjust enrichment, and a demand for over $134 billion in damages, plus structural reversal of how the company operates. OpenAI, for its part, denies these claims, asserting that all donations, including Musk's, were tax deductible contributions to a non-profit entity. Now, for builders, founders, and investors in the AI space, this trial highlights significant legal and reputational risks around AI governance, especially concerning the murky transitions from non-profit to for-profit structures. We should all expect tighter diligence from investors and regulators on corporate structures and mission alignment moving forward. It's a cautionary tale about how internal conflicts and a shifting mission can create massive legal headaches and public scrutiny. And it's a reminder that how you set up your company's mission and governance now could have huge implications down the road. If you're finding this useful, hit follow in your podcast app right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it's the best way to make sure you don't miss the next briefing. Let's shift our focus to our deep dive for today. Google's TPU 8 and its big infrastructure bet on agentic AI. What happened here is Google didn't just tweak existing hardware, they fundamentally redesigned their latest generation of TPUs, the TPU 8T for training and the TPU 8i for inference, with agentic workloads as the primary target. We're talking about chips that boast 3 times the compute per pod, 121 exaflops per superpod, and 2 petabytes of shared memory. They've packed in 3 times more on-chips RAM and integrated a new Axion-based CPU specifically optimized for multi-step reasoning. That's a critical detail because agentic AI systems by their nature need to perform complex chains of thought and actions, not just single isolated predictions. Google is explicitly claiming an 80% better performance per dollar for inference, and they've already got early adopters like Citadel Securities lined up. Why this matters right now is that it signals a major shift in AI hardware development. We're moving beyond generic training and high throughput inference chips to silicon that's truly tuned for the low latency, multi step, feedback loop driven workflows that define AI agents. This isn't just about making existing models faster, it's about making a whole new class of AI applications, autonomous agents, economically viable and performant for real world production. It addresses one of the biggest bottlenecks for agent deployment, the cost and latency associated with complex reasoning. This could unlock a ton of new use cases that were previously too expensive or too slow to build. So, who should really care about this? Well, if you're a founder building AI products, especially those incorporating multi step agents or complex reasoning, this could significantly alter your unit economics and product roadmap. For paid buddy, are the product managers. It means you can start envisioning more sophisticated autonomous features that were previously out of reach due to cost or performance constraints. Infrastructure engineers working with AI models will need to understand how these new architectures impact deployment strategies and cost optimization. And definitely, Zarya, indie hackers, exploring new AI product ideas. This kind of cost reduction could lower the barrier to entry for innovative agent based services, making ambitious projects much more feasible. It changes the calculus on what's possible with limited budgets. How I think about it as a builder is this: Google is making a very clear, very public bet on agents. They're saying, we believe the future of AI involves agents that can reason, plan, and act autonomously, and we're building the foundational infrastructure to make that happen efficiently. Prior generations of TPUs, like the TPU 7, were fantastic for massive batch training and high throughput, simpler inference tasks. But agentic systems demand tight feedback loops, the ability to store and process a lot of temporary information on chip, and rapid sequential decision making. That's what the TPU 8 seems to optimize for. So the opportunity here is clear. If you can ride this wave, you'll benefit from significantly lower unit costs and improved performance for agent driven workflows. The risk, of course, is vendor lock in. Google is building a vertically integrated stack from chip to cloud to frameworks which strengthens their position but also ties you more closely to their ecosystem. What to ignore for now? Don't get caught up in the agentic era marketing hype until you see the actual chips and tools in action later in 2026. However, do start planning for what becomes possible when agent workflows become 80% cheaper. My no BS take on this is a genuine infrastructure play that validates the long term vision of agentic AI. It's not just marketing, it's tangible silicon designed to address current limitations. While availability is still some months away, the strategic implications for reducing the cost and latency of complex AI tasks are very real for builders. If you want one practical takeaway from today's episode, here it is. Prototype a multi-step support or onboarding agent using current APIs to baseline against future options. Here's how to try it in under 60 minutes. First, pick a simple, repetitive customer support query or an early stage user onboarding step that currently requires human intervention or multiple manual steps. Second, use an existing AI agent API like OpenAI's Assistance API or any tool use functionality from other major models to wire together a basic agent that can retrieve information, perform some reasoning, and execute one simple action, maybe sending a templated email or updating a CRM field. Third, meticulously log the latency of each step and the overall cost of that agent workflow. This isn't about perfection, it's about getting a clear quantitative baseline for your current cost and performance profile. Why is this specific experiment worth your time right now? Because when Google's TPU 8 type becomes available later in 2026, offering potentially 80% better performance per dollar for inference, you'll have hard data to compare against. You'll know exactly how much cheaper and faster your agent workflows could be, allowing you to make informed decisions about scaling or re architecting your AI features rather than just guessing. It prepares you to capitalize on a future where complex agentic tasks are far more economical. That's it for today's No BS AI briefing. If this helped, follow the show in your podcast app and share it with one builder you know. And if you've got questions or topics you want covered, connect with me on LinkedIn and send them over. See you in the next briefing.